to our district supervisors, Sir Joel Peregrino and Sir Ed Aquino, to our school heads, to the teachers of Rosario District, to my colleagues at Silangan Elementary School, good day. So for this morning, I'll be discussing the flipped classroom model as it has been implemented in our school, Silangan Elementary School. For our session objectives, so we have here terminal objective 1, share instructional practices anchored on the modified flipped classroom model as an implemented blended learning modality in our school, Silangan Elementary School. Second is that we have to strengthen distance education, in our case, the printed modular distance learning, by adopting or adapting modified flipped classroom model as it has been utilized and institutionalized in our school. We would be offering here some insights so that you can also um, adapt this in your respective context. So as our priming activity, may I request our fellow teachers to reflect on these questions, no? First, how do you ensure that learning really takes place in the printed modular distance learning? Paano natin tinitiyak bilang mga guro na ang ating mga mag-aaral ay talagang natututo gamit ang mga printed modules? You may encode your responses in our chat box in our YouTube channel, in our live chat feature, no? Okay, so I have seen some of your responses. So you have there your calling or you're using communication platforms like Facebook, group chats, so that you are really monitoring their learning. Some of you are also validating their learning by checking whether the formative tests in the printed modules are really translated into meaningful learning. All right, so you have those mechanisms. Good for everybody for um, doing those measures of ensuring that learning would really take place using the self-learning modules. Our second question, how, given that we have implemented the printed modular distance learning last year, and I know that you have so many lessons learned, how are you going to strengthen modular distance learning for the school year 2021-2022? All right, so you may write your answer in our chat feature. All right, so I have read there, you're going to supplement the self-learning modules with other materials. Some of you have posted there the use of explainer videos. Um, you're doing online kamustahans. You're going to do limited home visits. All right, so those are also good responses or good courses of action. Now, for this school year, we have looked into the data provided in our school basic education learning continuity plan, and we have found out that most of our learners or some of our learners have access to internet or data connection. So we have thought of that we have to establish a mechanism of ensuring that learning would really take place among our learners. So we have thought together with our teachers and the rest of the team that we have to come up with a blended learning modality. And upon our readings and research on the different formats or types of this blended learning modality, so we have come up that we have to implement the flipped classroom model. um, Given that the data connection and the Wi-Fi connection is limited among our learners, so we think that the flipped classroom model, as we have modified it, would be the most appropriate and the most sustainable learning modality as of this moment. So To share with you, here are our readings and research regarding the flipped classroom model as it is being modified and is implemented in our school context. So this is a blended learning modality where the traditional instructional process is reversed or flipped. So meaning that the in our traditional setting, usually the teacher would be doing the lecture and would be presenting the concept in the class, and then right after that, she would be giving activities. But in a flipped classroom, the homework or the application activities are done in school, whereas the lecture part or the presentation part of the lesson is done at home. All right. So basically, this blended learning modality highlight information transfer out of the classroom and information assimilation into the classroom. So try to look at the information flow there. Um, and this would allow students in their learning instead of lecture. This is according to Mazur in 2001. So for our brief historical background, the flipped classroom model, as we have said, is a type of blended learning. And the aim here is that it should increase student engagement and learning by having the students complete their readings at their home and work on problem solving during the class time. It was the Russia which first implement this, and it was proposed by Militsa Nechkina, which is a member of the USSR Academy of Pedagogical Sciences in 1984. So in the 1980s and 1990s, teachers in Russia tried this model where they what? They let the pupils or students track the new things from autonomous reading of a textbook, which has been created accordingly, and then allow them to consider it and then discuss it with their teacher at school and come to a unified or united conclusion. Now, I have here figures comparing traditional and flipped classroom. So you would notice that for a traditional classroom, the lecture is provided by the teacher. And then right after that, homework activities are accomplished by the students. Whereas in a flipped classroom, the lecture part is independently done by the students. And come the classroom activities, the students are being provided with application activities as facilitated by the teacher. So you would notice here that um, the simulation part of the content or the information is being done by the students or by the learners. Moreover, if you would look into the different phases of instruction of the flipped classroom, so we have here three major phases: before instruction, during instruction, and in-class instruction. So here, prior to instruction, the students prepare to participate in the class activities. And then during instruction, the students practice applying key concepts with feedback. And then the students check their understanding and extend their learning after. So if you would notice here, our scenario right now where our students are using self-learning modules can really can be benefited from this instructional setting, given that they are acting now as self or independent learners. So here at the before phase, you would notice that our students are already reading the printed modules, right? So why not strengthen that independent learning by providing them through an online session, an in-class discussion, wherein the teacher would be providing application activities, clarification activities, checking on their understanding, so that whatever misconceptions that happen in the learner's independent study before can be clarified in that online in-class discussion. And then right after that, for the post uh, discussion or the after class discussion, the students are given opportunities to extend their learning. All right? So, here are our rationale why we have used flipped classroom model in Silangan Elementary School. Learners need more instructional direction with available resources at their dispense. Alam naman natin na ang ating mga mag-aaral ay mayroong mga pivot modules na 1:1 ang ratio. They also have the activity sheets, they have the books and the videos, and they already have the weekly home learning plans. So why not strengthen that kind of setup? So bakit hindi natin sila bigyan ng direction on how they can maximize their independent study or their self-learning? And aside from that, we, the teachers, need to know if they are really studying. This is one of the challenges of relying heavily on the self-learning modules because we do not really see how they are learning, what they are learning, and to what extent they are really learning. And for this, so that the teacher input and the teacher presence can really be established, we have to provide them prior instruction. And for this, we teachers need also to confirm the level of the learner's understanding or mastery of the content. How have they understood the content in the self-learning modules? And there should be a mechanism or instructional process to check it. And that's why we have decided to adopt the flipped classroom model. Now, in our school, the modified flipped classroom model is a blended learning modality. So it's printed modular distance learning and online learning session. So here are our modified flipped classroom activities. So before the instruction, this is where our students are at their households and they are independently studying the FEBOT self-learning modules. So prior to instruction, the teacher's role here are the following. Assign the learners to read the lesson in the module and to answer the learning tasks. Assign also relevant materials that are needed prior to the in-class discussion. This is for the online session. And then tell the learners to read also related lessons and learn the concepts from their textbooks. Or the teacher may also send link for explainer videos which he or she has prepared and provide guide questions related to the topic. So these are just suggestive activities. We are not limiting our teachers' creativity. So if you would be adopting also this kind of model in your respective classes, so the basic premise is that you have provided already the learners the necessary input or content, the necessary lesson presentation so that they will have a deeper understanding of the lesson. And then come your online session. This is the in-class part, the in-class discussion or the during instruction process. And this is when our teachers would meet them via Google Meet for the online session. These are some of the teachers' activities. First, the teacher would draw learners' understanding of the assigned topic. So basically, this would focus on the learners' understanding. Ano na ang natutunan ng mga bata? Paano pa nila ito malilinang? And paano pa nila ito matututunan? Next is that the teacher would ask the learners to present their understanding, example application, and how did they go through with it. Next, the teacher may also present the assigned guide questions given in the before instruction and then facilitate learners discussion. Dito, the teacher can see the misconceptions and the teacher can guide the students to confirm whether their understanding is correct or need to be reinforced. Or the during instruction phase may also be an opportunity for teachers to evaluate learners' application of the assigned topic. Or The teacher may also provide activities wherein the students would be answering tasks using different strategies. Probably the teacher may ask the students to defend their answers so that this would become an opportunity for deeper thinking and critical thinking. Um, in this part, the during instruction part, as you would notice, the teachers teaching activities focus more on application part, clarification of the content, and then facilitating activities that would engage the learners for deeper understanding of the content. And then right after this, the after instruction part, here the learners would be allowed to summarize the concept, or the learners would be provided other activities which they can apply the concept learned, but these are basically not from the module. Or the teacher may provide assessment or test to get the mastery level of each learner. And then the teacher may also assign learners to study the next lessons and answer learning tasks for next week. So you would notice how instructional activities are sequentially arranged so that we can maximize, we can capitalize on the current setting, given that our students are still in their households and their limited face-to-face classes are not yet feasible as of this moment. So we have come up that the use of modified flipped classroom model can greatly impact on student learning. When we started for a given class, there were just 9 students. Some of the classes have only 10 students. But our major goal there is that we have to address the possible learning loss that could happen if we would just let our students learn on their own using the self-learning modules. That's why this modified flipped classroom model as our blended learning modality is another mechanism of our school so that we can assist our students so that we can provide them meaningful learning while we are in this kind of learning setup. Given the month-long implementation of the modified flipped classroom, so here are our established effectiveness results. So for our learners, so we have found out that they have possessed greater control over their learning. And we have actually see that they learn at their own pace and they have found classroom time more engaging. We have seen this evidently that, say for instance, the class um, is English, and then the period, say for instance, would be Tuesday from 8 to 12. 8 to 11 would be devoted for self-learning using the pivot modules, and come 11 a.m., that would be the in-class or the online discussion or the online application activities with their teacher. And we have seen that our students have become more engaged in the class activities and they have become more focused and directed with their learning. Um, Unlike before that we have uh, allowed our students to really learn on their own, our teachers have this challenge of really checking on, are they really taking the content seriously, or are they really retaining understanding of the content. So with the use of the modified flipped classroom model, our teachers can actually see the real or the authentic learning that's really happening among our students. And it's quite a good start of transitioning to possible blended learning modalities come the next school years. And then for teachers, so these are some of their perceptions and insights regarding the use of the flipped classroom model. First, that they spend less time introducing topics. So given that the students are directed to read the content in the modules ahead of time, so teachers would definitely be spending less time telling them in the online session about the topics because the students already have the prior knowledge. Second is that the teachers can evaluate immediately learners' understanding. So if you would notice in the online session, the teacher, instead of telling them the topic, the teacher can actually tell or evaluate already the understanding of the students regarding the content. And they can also create more engaging lessons. And finally, they have developed a more tailored approach to learning. So given that the teachers can have the disposal of the learner's skills and prior understanding of the content that is being taught, so the teacher can come up with a highly individualized instructional plan for a specific learner, given that that the teacher already knows what has the student learned based on their online session. Now, given that those effectiveness, so we have come up that this kind of model can be sustained. And with the implementation of the possible limited face-to-face in the loom, we would still be using this kind of classroom model because we believe that this can enable the learners. This will help the teachers to check on the learner's understanding of the content. And then this model can strengthen really self-learning using the pivot modules. And definitely, this model can foster maximum learning given the possible limited instructional time. So nakita namin na yung online part ng flipped classroom model is a great opportunity for maximum learning, um, highly functional instructional time, given nga na ang data connection ng mga bata ay limited lang at ang Wi-Fi connection ay limited lang. So, our teachers are really minimizing the 1 hour allocation for the in-class online discussion, in-class online application activities. All right. So, aside from that, research also has identified the following pros and cons of a flipped classroom, and somehow we already have experienced the pros. What we are now looking into and are uh, um, planning for possible remedies or solutions are for these cons. All right. So for the first one is that the flipped classroom can create or exacerbate a digital divide. So if you would notice, we already have addressed this because we have, instead of teachers providing online lessons or video-based lessons, we rely heavily on the printed material. So for the uh, before instructional pace or the before the instructional stage part, as I have presented in the model a while ago. So the teachers may provide printed materials instead of using internet-based lessons. So pwede na siya magbigay doon ng mga learners materials na lahat ay printed ang format para hindi na maging issue sa bata na kailangan nila na merong stable at mahabang paggamit ng internet. Second is that it relies on preparation and trust. Really, this is true because we have to really um, build the trust among our students, among our learners, that they would really taking the independent reading seriously. So if the schedule is really from 8 to 10 and they would be reading the modules, dapat matiyak natin na nagbabasa ang mga bata. Para come the online instructional session, the students can really get the most of the learning from that online session. And then there is significant work on the front and the end in the part of the students. Um, we're looking at this as more of a challenge because we know that there is an academic ease policy. So the teachers here are looking really at careful selection of the most essential learning tasks. So this won't become a problem anymore. And generally, this is not a natural preparation for standardized testing, given that the students have this kind of setup na independent study, then session with teacher, unlike with the other traditional format that teachers would be doing the lecture and then testing after. Um, what we are looking at here is that this model can actually strengthen learning, authentic learning. And since this is the best at the moment, we're thinking of probably alternating this kind of setup with other possible modalities or other possible instructional frameworks. What we are looking is that we are maximizing this modality or this model as of this moment, given the educational context that we are in right now. And then last is that the time in front of screens instead of people and faces is increased. Again, the teachers are given the opportunity here to just select the most essential learning tasks and do not they are advised not to rely heavily on the internet-based video lessons or the internet-based materials. So we know that we have the pivot modules, we know that we have the books and the learning activity sheets, and they all come in printed forms. So our advice is that we have to maximize these available resources so that we can really deliver accessible and equitable learning for all our students. And as a testimony from our teacher, who happened to be our demo teacher, and in the latter part of our session, she would be delivering the demo teaching. So teacher Rona Marie Petalvero, and she is also one of the teachers who have helped me in developing the different instructional activities in the three phases of the modified flipped classroom model that we have implemented. So, based on her experience, she has found out that the learners have become more interested and they have more directed and more focused with their studies. And from the learner's perspective, so we have here Bel Dan Bel Dandy Borja, our grade 5 pupil who happened to be one of the pupils of the blended learning modality, who is one of the pioneer recipients of this modified instructional approach, has said mas madali ang pag-unawa sa mga lesson because he or she has already read the lecture and she has been directed to read the content in the printed modules. And to end my session, so may I leave you with this quote: if a child cannot learn the way we teach, maybe we should teach the way they learn. This is according to Ignacio Estrada. So, with this, I'd like to thank our district office headed by our district supervisor, Sir Joel and Sir Ed, for really inspiring us to explore and to be more creative when it comes to the implementation of instructional programs and projects. And I'd also like to thank our school heads for their support and for really accepting the practice that we do in Silangan Elementary School. And I particularly would also like to thank the Silangan Elementary School team with me right now. They will also be delivering their lived experiences of how they have implemented the modified flipped classroom. So muli po, maraming maraming salamat po sa inyong lahat. God bless everyone.
Blessed morning to all the most beautiful and handsome teaching force of Rosario District. I am Teacher Nida Tidalo of Silangan Elementary School, discussing with you about the instructional planning in flipped classroom model. Let's take a look on the difference between lecture-based approach and flipped classroom. Lecture-based approach. Before class, students do reading to prepare for class, or do they? In class, faculty lectures. Students gain first exposure to material. After class, faculty not available. Students do homework to practice and apply material. While in flipped classroom, before class, students gain first exposure to material via video or reading. Before or at the start of class, students complete assignments or quiz to ensure preparation. In class, faculty guides student learning or answer questions. Students collaborative to practice and apply material. Here, we notice the significance of flipped classroom in the learning experiences of our pupils. Steps in flipping your class. The goal of flipping your class is to practice a more student-centered pedagogy, thereby engaging your students in active learning experiences. In the flip model, teachers structure 6 active learning environments that guide and support pupils as they work through them individually and collaboratively. This is a process of reorganizing and redistributing content-related activities over sequences and cycles of in-class and out-of-class instructional practices and pupil experiences. In the context, appropriate uses of media and technology can play a valuable role. Step 1. Define content scope, learning objectives, and instructional strategies. The success of your flipped class depends on the alignment of what you want your pupils to accomplish before, during, and after the class. What is the scope of your topic? Defining scope is important so that pupils will not have difficulty building a mental model and connecting content. The biggest challenge is to determine how much of your subject matter can be taught within the time frame. Think in terms of the amount of time needed to cover the material and time needed for the pupils to really learn it through application. Alam niyo po, nung una at pangalawang meeting namin sa aming mga blended learners, nandun po yung kaba, pag-aalinlangan at paninibago sa paggamit sa mga teknolohiya sa kanilang pag-aaral. Pero dahil po sa nakita at naramdaman nila yung commitment ng mga guro sa paggabay sa kanilang mga anak, napalitan po yun ng excitement. At sa araw-araw namin silang nakakasama, nagiging independent na po sila sa paggamit. Nagkakaroon na po sila ng kamalayan at pagkukusa kung ano ang gagawin sa mga nakapost sa kanilang mga Google Classroom. Isa pong katiyakan iyon na ang kanilang pagyakap sa paggamit ng teknolohiya sa kanilang pag-aaral ay nagbunga ng magandang resulta para sila ay uunlad sa kanilang pagkatuto. Concept maps are useful exercises to help define scope as well as demarcate clusters of subtopics that can be turned into digestible lessons. How will pupils use or apply the material? Define the learning objectives and outcomes that align with the activities pupils will do before, during, and after the class. It is not enough for pupils to just read, listen, watch, and take notes. They need to use it to really learn it. What do you want your pupils to know and be able to do? And how will you assess what they know or can do? How will pupils meet the learning objectives? Describe the task that will demonstrate that the learning objectives has been met. Will pupils create a project, solve problems, analyze data, engage in a debate, or design a product to meet the desired learning objectives? Which instructional approach that will fit best for the main learning activity? Choose the evidence-based instructional approach will fit the main learning activity. Example, peer instruction, team-based learning, case-based learning, process-oriented guided inquiry learning. How will you contextualize the topic? Set expectations by preparing an explanation of how the new instructional material fits into the overall existing course structure and explains its relevance to the real-world applications. Step 2. Pupils gain familiarity with the new material before class. What instructional materials and resources will you use for pupils to familiarize themselves with the content prior to class? Plan and prepare the new instructional materials that pupils will engage with prior to class. Kaya po sa ating work home learning plan, naka-indicate na po doon kung anong pages ang kanilang babasahin bawat araw at gagawin para po pagdating po ng online class, alam na po nila kung alin doon ang papag-aralan. At makakasunod po sila agad sa mga ipapagawa or itatanong ng mga guro sapagkat nagkaroon na po sila ng advanced reading. What is the best way to communicate and present the new instructional material? Is it via video, text, animation, simulation, online multimedia module, or other? Just choose what's the best for them. Will my pupils be able to process this content in this format effectively? Angkop ba ito sa kanilang kakayahan? Kaya ba nila itong gawin mag-isa? Or nakakatulong ba ito para sa kanilang ikauunlad ng pagkatuto? Step 3. Activities that motivate pupils to prepare before class. What kinds of activities will motivate pupils and prepare them for class? Refer to the learning objectives and tasks that you outlined in Step 1. Ask yourself what incentive or motivation pupils will have to prepare for class and how you will know pupils have adequately prepared for the in-class activity. Here are some examples of ways to motivate pupils to do the pre-class work. Respond to open-ended questions online about the instructional material before class. Prepare questions about the instructional materials. Prepare a presentation about the topic. Attempt to solve some problems. Research examples to bring to class that illustrate a principle. Step 4. In-class activities that provide pupils opportunities to deepen understanding. What kind of in-class activities will focus pupils on attaining higher level cognitive abilities? Refer to the learning objectives and tasks that you outlined in Step 1. Plan, prepare, and develop in-class activities that focus on higher level cognitive activities. The activity you choose will depend on the learning goals and objectives, as some activities lend themselves best to certain types of content. Create a brief introduction and explanation of this new process. Also, explain how the new instructional material fits into the overall existing course structure. Here are some suggestions that we can do for the first 10 minutes before we conduct our actual class. The teacher reviews pre-class activities before class to identify common questions or gaps. The first 10 minutes of class are spent on a question or answer session with pupils influenced by the pre-class activity results. Provide a quick 3-question review based on the basic learning objectives. This can serve to review and focus the pupils so that the information is fresh in their minds. And to facilitate active learning, the remaining class time can be spent engaging in what are commonly referred to as active learning strategies, which can help pupils further process what they learned in the pre-class content. Here are just a few examples. Collaborate with peers to solve problems. Minsan po, nabibigla tayo sa ating mga online class kasi may mga estudyante tayo, bigla na lang pong nagtatype sa chat box ng kanyang napag-aralan, sagot sa kanyang assignments, sagot sa kanyang quiz, tapos ang kanyang mga kapwa mag-aaral din po ay nagsasagot din po doon ng kanilang mga kuro-kuro at opinyon. Nakikita natin sa pamamagitan ng pagpapalitan nila ng kanilang ideya na tunay na sila po ay natuto sa ating itinuro. Work on assignments. Step 5. Post-class activities that extend pupil learning. Plan, prepare, and develop the continuation of the learning experience from the in-class activity to outside of class individual or collaborative practice. Determine what pupils should do after the in-class activity to continue learning or bridge to the next topic. Think about and plan how often pupils will need to practice or revise their thinking to really master the material and be successful. Step 6. Ongoing evaluation and assessment. Assessment, it's either summative or formative. Plan for ongoing formative and summative ways to assess pupil understanding and mastery. Could pupils attain all the learning objectives? What does mastery or success look like? Based on previous iterations of the lesson, did your pupils' learning improve as a result of the new model? Now that you've flipped, did it work? How will you know? Plan for opportunities to evaluate by reflecting on the design of the class or course. Did you communicate the ideas effectively? Did you provide enough opportunities for pupils to practice? Was it challenging enough? Ask for feedback from pupils on what worked well and what didn't, and update your practices accordingly. Ensure that all 6 of these steps are closely aligned and that they support the learning goals and objectives. Have a colleague or school head review your plan and give you feedback. As I end, I wish to share this quote. Flipped teaching plus active learning equals amazing educational possibilities. Thank you and have a good day.
Good day, everyone. Today, I will talk about some of the learning resources including ICT tools in flipped classroom model. I am Miss Amy Victoria S. Geronimo, teacher from Silangan Elementary School. For the session objectives, the first one is identify ICT tools to be used in flipped classroom. The second is to share strategies on how to use these ICT tools in flipped classroom. But before we proceed to the ICT tools, let us first reflect on the following questions. Number 1 is, do we apply technology in conducting lessons? 2. Are we able to maximize the ICT resources that we have? Now, I will only be discussing 4 ICT tools. I know that there are many more tools that you know. Let us not limit ourselves to these 4. These tools are free, or if they are not fully free, you can already do so many things with their free version. The first one is Edpuzzle. The second one is Padlet. Third is Text Teach, or what we call Blendscapes. And the fourth one is Socrative. So, in Edpuzzle, it is an amazing tool to make any video interactive using audio and questions. You can track if your videos are being watched by students and how much time is spent on a section to get an idea of how well they have understood the concept. You can use even existing videos or upload your own. To go to Edpuzzle, type edpuzzle.com and then log in or sign up. Log in if you already have an account and sign up if it's your first time using Edpuzzle. Next, click I'm a teacher and then follow the instruction. So this is what your dashboard should look like. You can add classes here and then you can import classes from your Google Classroom. And then you can also add content here by clicking this one. And then you can upload your video, record them, or assign them to students. And to have an in-depth tutorial on creating videos and assigning them to your class, I have here included a YouTube video tutorial link in here. Then you may watch this on your free time. Unfortunately, because of our limited time today, we wouldn't be able to watch it. And then here is an Edpuzzle content. In the example, a video is gotten from YouTube. Then it was edited using Edpuzzle. And then questions are inserted and students would answer the questions while watching the video. So let's watch them together.
We have already learned that plants are the producers of food. They convert energy from the sun to food. In other words, we can say that plants store energy from sun in the form of fruits, flowers, leaves, branches, roots, stem, etc. When a consumer eats any part of plant, energy stored in that part gets transferred to it.
You can see the video is paused if there are questions and then the students need to answer the questions before
Consumer
proceeding
uses this energy for physical
or before
activities as
continuing
well
the
as its
video.
growth. In a consumer, energy is stored in the form of muscles and bones. When a carnivore eats a herbivore, energy energy stored in herbivore's body gets transferred to carnivore. Carnivore use this energy to perform physical activities and grow. And as it grows, energy gets stored in the form of its muscles and bones. After the death of carnivore, its body gets decomposed by microorganisms. Decomposition is the process by which a complex material is broken down into smaller materials. In this process, a lot of nutrients are
So that is again an example of an Edpuzzle content. So the Edpuzzle flipped classroom basically consists of assigning your students with video lessons to watch at home and then using the class time for more meaningful activities. Students will learn the basic concepts of the lesson at home while using Edpuzzle puzzle videos which they can watch at their own pace. This gives the teacher more time in the classroom to work on other activities that will reinforce the students' understanding of the topic. So here is an example of how you can use Edpuzzle in a math or science class. The first thing you need to do is assign videos about the basic theory. So what do you do there? There are lots of theories in all subjects, not only math and science, that you can find under the curriculum section of Edpuzzle. And then assign one of these pre-prepared lessons to watch at home. And then you can use your class time or your synchronous session with your class to clear up any doubts or to push the students to learn key concepts in a more in-depth manner. Now, students can watch as many times as they need to. And then number 2 is use the videos to show how to solve the problems. You can assign a video explaining the basic process to solve a problem, giving your students the chance to practice before coming to class. And you can then use the class time for a more challenging version of the same problem. And then the third one is engage your students with videos. You can share documentaries, lab experiments, or any other videos to surprise and engage your students. You can collect the questions or reactions, opinions they may have while watching the videos and use that data to drive your time in the classroom. And the fourth one is to share class rules via video. Usually, teachers spend a lot of time explaining and repeating class rules, like behavior, lab security, like your rules, and then record the video and embed the questions to check for understanding. You can use the same video every year, saving you time. And you can edit those video anytime that you want. So another ICT tool is the Padlet. Padlet is a versatile and intuitive virtual postboard that can be shared with your students either in class or as an extension to their learning. The most common uses for teaching and learning currently are the discussion board, wherein the tutor or the teacher poses a question and all the students can answer, or all the students can respond to the question. So to access Padlet, go to padlet.com and once again, sign up for a free account, or if you have already an account, just log in. Okay, so this is the dashboard of the Padlet. You can use any template. And here is an example of a Padlet. For this session, you may access this website, padlet.com/imhieronimo/40WSYS2E70 and 8SZCV. And I have there a comment or a question, or write your question or comments about flipped classroom. So using this site or accessing this web, you can post your questions or comments in a Padlet. So how do we use Padlet in a flipped classroom? After students have viewed an instructional video, it is a good idea to provide them with an opportunity to reflect on the content of the video. Now, the Padlet provides teacher with a way to have students not only review and reflect on content, but also collaborate with their peers. They can collaborate with each other, or if there are questions, they can post it on the Padlet so their teachers or their classmates or even their classmates can answer the questions. Or the teacher may harvest questions on the Padlet, then answer it during the online session. Now, the only downside of using Padlet is that its free version will only allow you to make up to only 3 Padlets. But you can always delete the previous Padlet, and create a new one after harvesting the results or the questions from the previous activity. The third one is test teach with blend space. And now it's only called blend space. It makes it easy to plan, build, and deliver a lesson by integrating content from YouTube, test resources, even your own files, and other digital media somewhere on the internet. You just have to drag and drop the materials on the test teach dashboard. You can even add links from book widgets so your students can get activated by interactive fun widgets. So to again go to test teach blend space, just type www.blendspace.com and then again sign up or log in. So here is how you can create your lesson. You just drag you just drag the content. You can choose from YouTube, Gmail, you have their Dropbox, and many more content. And then you can drag it on the boxes. And then you can even add questions like this one. So this is an example on how you can use blend space. Just choose a video. Then you can write your notes. Then you can add a quiz. As simple as that. Okay, now how do we use it in flipped classroom? So blend space is an excellent free tool to create flipped lessons for the class. Maximum number of active lessons that you can have for free is 100. Besides sharing lessons with the class, you can also use it to collect web sources in a single place that you can share with students with just one link. BlendSpace also offers built-in quiz functionality that allows you to create quizzes to test your students' comprehension, as what you have seen in the previous slide. You can create a class on BlendSpace and invite up to 35 students to join in per class. It also allows you to monitor students' progress and adapt to students' needs in real time. And the last tool is the Socrative, which allows teachers to create simple quizzes that students can take quickly on laptops or more often via classroom tablet, computers, or their own smartphone. So just go to Socrative.com. So this is my dashboard for Socrative. So Socrative is an easy-to-use website and an app where teachers create questions and provide correct answers. Then Socrative does the rest. So it's very easy to use for flipped classroom. It provides different versions of the same quiz by randomizing questions and answers, gives immediate feedback with grades, saves the quizzes, and keeps students' records. Socrative saves time and effort because via Socrative, there is no longer a need to have teachers correct quizzes because it is automatically done. Socrative also help teachers to monitor the students' progress easily in large classroom as the quizzes results are displayed either per class, per students, or per questions. Socrative does not only create quizzes, uh, it also saves them and gives feedback with grades, but also enables teacher to know the student's weakness through various reports provided to modify the teaching methodology. Here I have 5 tabs for launch, quizzes, room, reports, and results. So if you are ready to use your Socrative, you click here in the launch if you're ready to give your quiz or if you are ready to let students answer questions, quick questions. And then to create a quiz, you click on the quiz tab. And then here I already have a sample quiz. If you want to add quiz, you click here in the add quiz. I'll just use this ready-made quiz. Let's click on that, and that is the example. Then I can save and exit. So I already have my quiz here. And then if I'm ready to give this to my students, I'll go back to launch and then quiz, click quiz. And in here, choose quiz. Since I only have one quiz, there's only world facts quiz here. And then click on it and then next. And then I have the option to have instant feedback, open navigation, or teacher pace. So let's click instant feedback. So you have the choice if you want to require your students' names or if you want to shuffle the questions and then shuffle the answers and show final score. But for one attempt only, we cannot access this because this is only for the pro feature. Okay, and then you can click start. So the students would be able to access your quiz. Okay, so you will see the results in here. So if the students are answering, you will see here. Since there are no students in here, there are 0 names or 0 class total. So let's just click finish. For example, the quiz is already finished. The students have already answered. Click finish. And then for rooms, this is the room. So this is my room name. I can edit this one. And then for my students to access it, you just need to share it and give the code to the.
So those are the 4 tools that we can use in Flip Classroom. And again, I will repeat, I know that there are more tools that we can use. We just need to explore them so that our learners could get the best learning experiences possible. So these are my references. And with that, I will leave you with this quote. Technology is just a tool in terms of getting the kids working together and motivating them. The teacher is the most important. Thank you. Have a nice day.
Okay, so I think all of you are ready for today because I can see the smile on your faces. But before we start our new lesson, I just want to ask if who among you here, children, still remember our past lesson last week? Anybody? Anyone, children? Yes, Belle.
It's about characteristic or properties of materials.
Okay, very good. It's all about the properties of matter or the characteristic of materials. We discussed different characteristics in solid, liquid, and gas. Very good, Belle. So to test if you still remember or know the different properties of material, we will be having our short activity. Wow! It's a short activity. Okay, so let me read to you the directions. Read the following riddles. You know what is a riddle? Anyone? You know what is a riddle? It's in Tagalog, it is bugtong. Okay? Find out which of the materials beside you is having referred to. So last week, I assigned different materials. Okay? Or last time, I've assigned to you different materials to prepare those things beside you. Okay? So can you raise your hand if you have all those materials? Raise a hand. Yan, we have 3, 4. Who else? 5. Very good. Mm-hmm. So I think all of you have all those materials. So what you need to do is you will just raise it if it's the answer from the for the riddles. Okay? So wait for my signal, children. Ha, remember, wait for my signal before showing it on the screen. It is for us to avoid copying answers from your classmates. So are you ready? Are you ready?
Yes po, ma'am. Opo.
Yes
Yes po,
po.
ma'am.
Very good. Okay, so let's now proceed. First one, first riddle. I am full of holes but can still hold a lot of water. What am I? Okay, find now the material. I'll give you 5 seconds. Okay, show me now your answer, kids. Show it on the screen now. Let me see, let me see. Okay, very good. It is a sponge. Very good. It is a sponge. Okay. So now, I just want to ask you, what properties of material do sponge have? What properties of material? Anybody? Yes, Athena.
Porosity.
Let me see if it's correct. Let us see. It is very good. It is porosity. Nice one, Athena. Next. Get ready with your materials, kids. Okay, kindly read the riddle. Anyone who wants to read? Yes, Rangeline.
I have made of metal and I have many teeth. My bite hurts no one and the ladies love me. What am I?
Okay, 5 seconds starts now. Think of it, kids. Okay, show me now your answers. Let me see the material. Ayan. The answer is very good. It is metal fork. Nice one, kids. How about metal fork? What properties of material it is? Who wants to answer? Yes, Trisha May.
Malleability.
Okay, let me see. Correct, it is malleability. Good job, Trisha. Let's proceed to the third riddle. Who wants to read? Same hand. Akisha.
If you drop me, I'm sure to crack, but give me a smile and I'll always smile back. What am I?
Okay, 5 seconds starts now. Okay, time is up. Show me now your answers. What material it is? Let me see. Okay, the correct answer is very good. It is a mirror. Now, the question is, what properties of materials do mirrors have or it belongs? Mirror. Yes, Angeline.
Reliability, ma'am.
Does it belong in malleability? Another answer. That's nice try, Angeline. I'll give you a chance later. How about Trisha?
Brittle.
One is brittle. Let us see if your Trisha, if your answer is correct. Okay, there are two properties. The first one is a luster and the second one is brittleness. So Trisha is correct. Angeline, I'll give you another situation later. Okay? Next, read the fourth riddle. Later. How about Mary Rose?
I am a kind of band that never plays music. What I am.
What am I? Okay, so I'll give you 5 seconds. Ready? Begin. Okay, time is up. Show me now your answers. What material it is? Okay, very good. It is a rubber band. Okay, thank you, kids. Very good. What property of material is a rubber band? Rubber band. Okay, Princess Angel. Princess Angel.
Elasticity po, ma'am.
Okay, let us see. Very good. It is elasticity. Good job, Princess. How about the last one? Read. Who can read? Yes, Rangeline. Rangeline.
I'm white but not milk. I'm small but I'm not snow. I I come as a grain but I'm not rice. I'm added to food but I'm not sugar. What am I?
There's a clue word in the riddle. Okay, I'll give you 5 seconds. Time is up. Okay, show me now your answers. Wow, what's that? Okay, the correct answer is correct. It is a salt. And salt is a solid and has the property of what? Who wants to answer? Yes, Athena?
Solubility.
Very good, Nak. It is solubility. Okay, it is the ability of material that can be dissolved in a water. Very good. I think that all of you are ready for our new lesson. You already knew and understand the different properties of matter. And I'm very proud of you kids. Okay? So now, this time, you will think of a situation wherein those materials beside you are useful. Okay, let's start. What do you think is the use of the sponge? What's the use of the sponge? Yes, Belle.
To clean plates.
Yes, we are using it in washing our dishes or our plates. How about the metal fork? The metal fork. I want to hear the voice of the other children here. Yes. Same hand. Yes, Belle.
To eat.
Yes, we are using that while we are eating. We already knew the different uses of materials. So this time, we also have the situation wherein those materials can be harmful, okay? Or it has a bad effect. The first one is Some materials found at home can either be useful or harmful because of their physical and chemical properties, remember this one, depending on how the materials are being used. So those materials that we are using at home, meron po yang, there are properties wherein it can be a physical or it can be a chemical, depending on how we will use those materials. Okay? So next, kindly read. Who wants to read? Yes, Akisha?
Chemical properties are observed indirectly and become evident only when the material undergoes chemical change.
Okay, so those chemical properties can be seen when it undergoes chemical changes. When we say chemical changes, it is the composition of a new product. Composition of chemicals to the product. It can be through the help of application of heat. It can also be used as like exposure to the oxygen, or it can be exposure to the water. Okay? So those chemical properties can be seen through chemical changes. Okay, so now let's move on. A while ago, you give the uses of the materials. Okay, this time around, you will give the harmful effects, or you will give a situation wherein those materials can be harmful. Okay, so let's start with the sponge. Give me a situation wherein sponge can be harmful. Yes, Trisha?
Ma'am, pwede magtagalog?
Ah, yes na. Sige, go.
Pag po nakasipsip po yung sponge ng tubig at hindi po binanlawan ng maayos, pwede po siya mag-cause ng mga dumi po sa plato kasi po di binanlawan.
Okay, correct. Okay? So we will have a harmful effect if we will not use it properly. So after using it, using the sponge, you should also clean it and then put it in the what? In the clean container, and then put a cover so that the bacteria will not enter it. And then if you use it again, okay, it's clean and there's no bacteria. So we should use it properly. Okay, nice. Very good, Trisha May. I will give you another example. I will show it to you. And what you need to do is you will give the uses and harmful effects of it. So are you ready?
Yes.
Yes.
What's that?
Soft drinks po.
Yes po.
Ah, I can see the smile in your
Drinks.
faces when you see the soft drinks. Okay? So soft drinks. Is it useful? And what is the use of it?
Ano ko pwede?
Yes, Florence.
Kapag po nauuhaw, pwede po ito yung inumin po.
Very good. It also helped us to relieve our thirst. How about the harmful effects or effect? Yes, Princess Angel.
Kapag nasobrahan ka po sa pag-inom nito, pwede pong makasama sa iyong kalusugan.
Very good. If you will take excessive amount of soft drinks, it will cause what? High sugar. It can also cause acid content that has acid content, and dental
UTI.
caries, UTI, overweight, and diabetes. So those are the possible effects. So it's also harmful. So what you need to do?
Drink
What you,
water.
okay,
Drink a lot of water po.
very good. Instead of drinking soft drinks, prefer to drink Water.
Water.
Okay, good job. Next. All right, what's that?
Junk foods
Junk
daw
Junk
po.
food
food
po.
Po,
po.
ma'am.
Junk foods.
Kids, if you want to answer, reminder again, if you want to answer, click the raise hand button. Okay, so what's that? Bell.
Junk foods.
Okay, it's a junk food. Useful? Is it useful, the junk food?
No.
No.
No. How
No.
about harmful? What's the situation wherein junk food can be harmful?
If you eat many of them.
Very good, Bell. If you eat many of them or excessive amount of them. If you take excessive amount of junk food. Okay, because it may cause what? Same also with the juice or the soft drinks. It may also cause obesity
UTI.
or overweight, UTI. It may also cause memory problems or loss of appetite. Okay, so those are the possible effects. So now let's proceed to the last picture. What's that?
Gas.
Yes, Mary Rose. Mary Rose. Oh, Mary Rose is not around. Rangeline.
LPG gas po.
Okay, the LPG gas or the liquefied petroleum gas. Okay, so what's the use of LPG? What's the use of LPG? Yes, Florence.
Kapag po nagluluto, pwede po siyang gamitin.
Yes, it's very important in heating a food or di kaya ay if we are cooking. Or it can also be useful if in appliances and vehicles. How about the harmful effects of it?
Sinidor.
Yes, Athena.
Pwede pong sumabog.
Okay, so it may explode. So what we need to do to avoid those things to happen? What we need to do? Yes? Aha. Ervin.
If you're done cooking, off it.
Correct. If you're done cooking, turn it off. Okay? So that we can avoid fire. Okay? Next. And children, if you all want to open it, you may seek assistance or guidance from your parents or from brothers or sisters. Okay. Next. So do you have questions about the harmful and useful effects of the materials?
Wala na po, ma'am. Wala
Okay.
na po.
So,
Wala na
so
po.
now let's try this one. So kindly read. Who wants to read? Yes, Belle.
As a learner, how were you able to maintain safe and effective use of the materials at home?
Okay, so I will give you 10 minutes to think of the answer, and then later on I will ask you about this question. So timer starts now. So ready? Not yet.
Ready na po.
Are you
Ready
ready?
po, ma'am.
Ready na
Okay, so
po,
you
ma'am.
are now ready. So I'll repeat the question. As a learner, how were you able to maintain safe and effective use of the material? Princess, kindly turn it off, your microphone. Yan, thank you na. Okay, so how were you able to maintain safe and effective use of the materials? I want to hear the answer of Bell.
Use it properly.
Very good. Use it properly. So I want to hear another opinion. Athena,
I will read the instruction before using.
very good. You will read first the instructions of how to use it or who are the persons that are that needs to use those materials. Okay, so one more thing. What else? Do you have another opinion about this question? Yes, Trisha May?
Humingi ng tulong sa mga magulang.
Correct. It's also important to what to seek help or guidance from your parents. Another. Yes, Princess Angel.
Kapag gagamit ka po ng isang bagay, pagkatapos mo po itong gamitin, ilagay po ulit sa pinaglagyan.
Okay, very good. Now, after using the material, keep it in a proper place. Okay, very good. So those are just a simple thing that you need to do to avoid what? Accident or to have a safe place using those materials. So let's now continue our lesson in the module. Last week kasi we did not finish all the learning tasks. This time we will continue answering and checking all the tasks in your module. So get your module na, open it on page, okay, page 11. Okay, show me now your module. Let me see.
Mamaya lang po.
Okay, can you see now the screen? On the screen, the module.
Yes po, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so last week, I let you read the story about the lady's finger for sale, and I also assigned to you to answer the questions below. Okay, so who wants to read the lady's finger for sale story? Yes, Belle.
Ladies finger for sale. During lockdown in Calabarzon in March 22, Joram, a grade 5 pupil together with Joram and Hannah, decided to plow the vacant lot in the backyard using a hoe. They planted lady's finger, a vegetable plant locally known as okra. They water the plants every day using empty tin cans. They spray chemical fertilizers every 4 to 6 weeks. After watering the plants, it took 10 to 12 weeks when okra plants become ready for harvesting. They harvested the lady's finger and decided to sell them among their neighbors in the community. They earned several coins and gave them to their mother. They also set aside some pieces of okra for cooking. The planting and selling of ladies' fingers were good experience that Joram and his family enjoyed during quarantine period.
Okay, thank you, Belle, for reading the story. So this story is very popular nowadays because we are still in a lockdown, and most of our parents or our brothers or sisters in the house are big or became plantito and plantita. They plant vegetables or flowers in the yard. So it's very um, on time story. Okay, so let's proceed to our questions. So the first question is, name three metal objects, materials mentioned in this story. So who can give three metal objects? Yes, Athena.
The three metal objects mentioned in this story are hoe, coins, and cans.
Okay, correct. It's the hoe, the tin cans, and the coins. Okay, so those are the three materials. Who get the correct answer? Raise a hand. Ervin?
Harvesting po.
Ah, harvesting. So we are talking about the three metal objects. Okay, now remember metal objects. Okay, next number two. What is the use or importance of these materials? Again, use of the hoe, the tin cans, and the coins. What are their uses? Anybody? Yes, Trisha May?
Gardening.
Okay. So, hoe and tin cans is gardening tools. How about the coins? Is it also gardening tools?
No.
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 So, what is the use of it? Trisha.
To give their mother money.
Okay, so correct. We are using it to buy foods, or it is also the result of gardening. Very good na. So next, let's proceed to number three. What chemical substances were used after watering the plants? What is the chemical, or what are the chemical substances? Yes, Florence.
Fertilizer po.
Again,
Fertilizer po, ma'am.
okay, so we are using the the character in the story uses what? Chemical fertilizer. So are these chemical fertilizers useful or harmful in the environment? Chemical fertilizer. Anyone? Yes, same hand. How about the others? I want to hear the voice of the other children here. Do you think chemical fertilizers are harmful or useful?
Harmful po minsan.
Okay, sometimes it can be harmful. But why? Why it is harmful?
Because po yung chemical.
Okay, from its word chemical fertilizer because of the chemicals. Although it has a possible effect or positive effect to the farmers, there are also harmful effects like what? It can also be the reason of what? Pollution, and then aside from that is um acidification of the soil. Okay? That's why the soil becomes so dry. And then as another one is the decrease of minerals in the soil. So that's a harmful effect. Next, what are the importance of selling ladyfingers or okra in the community? Yes, Angeline?
Pwede ka magkapera at pwede mo rin to kainin.
Correct. It can be the reason for earning money or income, and then it can also be have a good health in eating okra. Very good na. Next, what is the use of lady's finger or okra at home? What is the use of lady's finger or okra at home?
For cooking po, ma'am.
Yes, we are using it for cooking or food source. Why? Because okra is high in fiber that is good for diabetes. So trivia po yan. Okay? So high in fiber that is good for diabetes. So it has a good effect to our health. Last one. Is lady's finger useful or harmful in humans? Is okra useful or harmful to us? Yes, Princess Angel?
Useful po, ma'am.
Useful. Then why it is useful? I think I already said the answer a while ago. Why is it useful?
Ginagamit po ito sa pagluluto at saka po masustansya po. Nakakabuti po
Very
sa
good. It is
kalusugan.
a healthy food. Okay, so give yourself a round of applause for a job well done, kids. You answered the learning task number 5 so well. Okay, clap, clap, clap. Okay, next, let's proceed to learning task number 6. So in learning task number 6, you will just read the question carefully and then write the letter of the best answer correctly. So, let's answer it now. So, who wants to read number 1?
Hannah loves to drink milk tea. These food drinks contain a lot of sugar, which is true about milk tea for human health.
So, what's the answer?
C.
Okay, according to Akisha, her answer is letter C. Raise the hand of those children with the same answer with Akisha. O L, 7, 8. O same answers with Akisha. So why do you think letter C is the correct answer now,
It is
Akisha?
true. It is true that sugar taken in excess will cause health problems like diabetes.
Very good. It may cause diabetes. It's not just useful to about our to relieve the thirst, but it's also harmful because it can cause diseases or diabetes. Why do you think the milk tea may cause diabetes? Because of what? Of the presence of tannins. When we say tannins, it is a yellowish or brownish bitter type tasting organic that may also cause what? Stomach ache if you will drink it excessively. So remember that. So although it's very delicious, we should take it in a minimal way. Okay, next, number 2. Who wants to read? Rangeline, please read.
Rings, necklaces, and watches are example of jewelries. Which material is the best to use in making jewelries?
Okay, so what's the answer na, Rangeline?
Letter B po.
Okay, it is letter B. Why letter B? Why metal? Anybody, Trisha? Why metal? Why you choose metal as the best use in making jewelries?
Because it's hard.
Okay, it has the property of hardness. Very good. What else? Aside from being having a property of hardness, what else? Yes, Rangeline?
Kasi po gawa po siya sa bakal.
Yes, because it is made up of metal. And remember, metal has the property of hardness. Aside from the hardness, it has also the property of malleability and it is non-brittle. So it's not easy to be broken. Okay? So, and remember kids, gold is the best metals to use in jewelry making. That's why it's so expensive. Okay? So, gold. Okay, next. Number 3. Please read. How about Lian? Kindly read now.
Plants have properties that make them practical source of foods, which properties make them good source of food.
Okay? So, what is the answer? Lian.
C.
It is?
C.
It is what? Letter C. It is a chemical. Why chemical?
Because a fertilizer is chemical too.
Okay, because fertilizer is chemical too. Nice try, Nak. But plants make their own food, remember? They undergo photosynthesis. And photosynthesis is a chemical change. How about the number 4? Please read number 4. Number 4, yes, Florence, read. Florence.
Jewelries are made from metals which can be hammered into thin sheets without breaking. They can also withstand wear, pressure, and damage, which property best describe jewelries.
Okay, what's your answer, Nak, in number 4?
Letter D po, ma'am.
It's letter D. Okay. So based on the in the sentences given in number 4, there are two properties involved: hammered and then withstand the wear. Okay, that's the clue word. So what do you think is the answer? We need two answers.
Ma'am, it's C.
Yes, Trisha.
Letter C po.
Letter C. Very good. It is malleability and durability. Correct. Okay, next, number 5. Kindly read number 5. Athena.
Metals are Metals are used at home for variety of purpose. If the electrician will install electrical light in your kitchen, which material is are practical to use?
What's the answer now?
C.
Okay, so letter C. Is it letter C? We are talking about electrical light. We are not talking about electrical wire? Yes, Akisha.
D.
Okay, it can be letter D. Okay, so why letter D? As what I've said a while ago, we are talking about electrical light. If we are talking about electrical wire, very good. Copper is a good example. So, why we need to choose stainless steel for electrical light? It is to avoid corrosion because, of course, it is in the for our safety also. Okay? So, who got 5? Raise a hand for those students who got 5. Good job. Very good. How about 4? Princess and Athena. How about 3? Okay, Florence is 3. How about 2? Okay, nobody. And 1? Okay, nobody. So your scores are in between 3, 4, and 5. So now let's have a short test to test if you really understand the lesson for today. Please prepare or bring out your show me board. So let me read to you the directions. Read and analyze the sentences that I will be presented later. In your show me board, use useful if the statement shows good effect and harmful if it shows bad effect. Okay? Wait for my signal before showing your answer. By the way, there is also timer in each question. So are you ready now? Raise the hand of those who are ready. Number 1, useful or harmful? Kiko loves to eat junk food. Junk food contains high calories from sugar or fat. Useful or harmful? Okay, time is up. Show me now your answer, kids. Okay, all of you got the correct answer. Good job. Next, number 2. Number 2, my mother bought food and cleaning supplies. She provided 2 separate bags for them. Cleaning supplies and then separate bags. Go. Okay, time is up. Show me now your answer. Okay, the correct answer is useful. Very good. All of you also get the correct answer. Wow, perfect. Next, number 3. Okay, Aling Rose sealed the broken glass in a box before disposing it. Useful or harmful? Go. Okay, time is up. Show me now your answer, kids. The correct answer is useful. I'll check your answer. Useful. Raise it up. Okay, all of you also get the correct answer. Very good. Next, number 4. Jenny and Tin prepare food for dinner. They use excess preservatives or additives to add taste. Useful or harmful? Go. All right, show me now your answer, kids. Time is up. The correct answer is harmful. Margie makes sure that all the medicines are in safe place. Useful or harmful? Go. Okay, time is up. Show me now your answer. What is the answer, Akisha?
Useful po.
Very good. It is useful. Okay, so I think all of you got the correct answer. So I'm very proud of you, kids. So did you learn something today?
Yes.
Yes po, ma'am.
Okay.
Yes.
Isang magandang umaga po sa ating lahat. Ang inyo pong matutunghayan ay patungkol po sa flipped classroom model in Araling Panlipunan. Bago po tayo magsimula ng aralin, narito po ang mga dapat nating gawin. Una po ay ang prayer, check the attendance, at ang pamantayan po natin sa online classroom.
Magandang umaga po mga kapuso. Alam niyo ba, matatagpuan sa Indonesia ang isang plastic waste museum. Isa sa highlights dito ang kanilang plastic bottle tunnel na gawa mula sa mga bote na nakolekta sa ilog sa loob ng 3 taon. Proyekto po ito na isang activist group para ipanawagan na...
Sa balitaan po ay huwag po nating kalilimutan na magtanong patungkol po sa balitang napanood. Pagkatapos po ng balitaan, so magkakaroon po tayo ng balik-aral na kung saan po ay magbabalik tanaw po tayo sa nakaraang aralin.
Meron ako ipapakita sa inyo na isang larawan, bigyang pansin. Tingnan mabuti. Sino kaya ang nakakilala dito? Module, partisipasyon ng mga kababaihan sa Rebolusyong Pilipino. Okay. Sa simula, pawang mga kalalakihan lamang ang mga kasapi ng katipunan. Dahil sa paghihinala ng kanilang mga asawa sa kanilang pag-alis-alis ng kanilang tahanan tuwing gabi, pagkakaroon ng bawas mula sa kanilang sahod, dito nabunyag ang samahan ng mga katipunero. Kung kaya't nahimok silang itatag ang isang samahang eksklusibo lamang para sa mga asawa, kapatid at anak ng mga katipunero. Sa araling ito ay tatalakayin at bibigyan diin ang naging partisipasyon ng mga kababaihan sa Rebolusyong Pilipino sa panahon ng pananakop ng mga Kastila sa bansa. Sa pagtatapos ng paksa sa araling ito, ikaw ay inaasahang makilala ang mga babaeng naging kasapi ng samahan, matalakay. Okay. Gawin natin sa pagkatuto bilang isa. Sa bahaging ito ay sasanayin ang iyong kasanayan bilang isang mag-aaral na magsuri ng mga bagong kaisipan at impormasyon gamit ng kritikal o malikhaing pag-iisip. Ipaliwanag ang mga sumusunod ng katanungan. Number 1, sa iyong pagsusuri, paano nakatulong ang mga kababaihan sa Rebolusyong Pilipino? Ikalawa, ano ang naiambag ng mga kababaihan sa Rebolusyong Pilipino? Okay. Pwede na po nyong simulan. Kung meron na kayong sagot sa inyong ginawang output, okay lang. Kung wala pa, bibigyan ko po kayo ng 2 minuto. You may begin. Okay. Picture. Okay, tingnan nga natin. Okay. Yan. O, tingnan nga natin. Siya ay masasabi natin isang kababaihan. Kilala siya bilang bansag na tandang Sora. O, di ba? Ano-ano ang kanyang mga nagawa? Tingnan ko nga. Basahin mo nga, Mohika. Mohika, please read. Pakiulat mo nga, sino-sino, ano-ano ang makanyang na-contribution. Okay, tingin ko nga, gawain sa pagkatuto bilang 2, bigyan paliwanag natin. Who can answer number 1? Nakikita po ba? Yes, Daven. Pagtulong sa iba. Ibig sabihin, magagawa niya raw yung pagtulong sa iba. Anong aral ang dapat mong matutunan mula sa ginawa ng mga kababaihan Pilipino sa pagkamit ng kalayaan noon? So, sabi ni Raven, pagtulong daw sa kapwa o pagtulong sa iba. Tulad ng samahang KKK, kung kumbaga yun ay nabigyang tulong o malaki ang parte na ginampanan ng mga kababaihan upang mas lalo pa itong maging malakas, mas dumami ang miyembro, mas tumibay. Yan. Oh. Who can for answer number 1? Sino pa po ang may ibang sagot sa number 1? Yes, Caroline. Maging matapang at maging responsable na kumbaga bilang isang Pilipino. Okay, very good, Caroline. Who can? Another? Pwede naman kayong tumaas ng kamay at sagutin na lang ng pasalita. Kasi sige, kay David, may problema sa kanyang sounds. Kaya siya nag-chat box lang. Oh. Sila ay mga ano? Anong katangian ng taglay nila? Caroline?
Matapang. Matapang.
Okay, very good. Karamihan sa inyo, ang may sasagot ay matapang.
Tsaka po, ma'am, masipag sila matulungin na sinusuko po nila, isasuffer po nila yung magsasacrifice po sila ng buhay nila para sa mga Pilipino.
Okay, very good. Ibig sabihin, bihira yun, yung magsasakripisyo ng buhay para sa banang Espanyol. O, tignan nga natin to. Kung kayo ang nasa kalagayan, pag pinag-usapan, ang letter A, may mga taong nakagawa ng kabayanihan para sa ating bansa. Sila ay nagdaan sa hirap at nagsakripisyo dahil sa kanilang pagmamahal sa ating kalayaan. Ang ilan sa kanila ay nagbuwis ng sariling buhay. Kilala mo ba sila? So, yan yung mga binanggit natin, yan yung natutunan, di ba? Isulat ng kanilang mga pangalan at mga nagawa para sa Rebolusyong Pilipino. So, yan na rin yung binanggit doon sa ating, okay, gawain sa pagkatuto bilang 4. Suriin ang mga pangyayari kaugnay ng partisipasyon ng mga kababaihan sa Revolusyon Pilipino. Kalagyan ng salitang tama kung ito ay tumatalakay sa mga naiambag ng mga kababaihan sa panahon ng Rebolusyong Pilipino. At sa flip classroom po ay mapapadali po ang pagtatapos ng mga gawain. Nakakonsolidate po ng bawat mag-aaral ang kanilang sagot ng araw pong yon at nababalidate din po ng guro kung ang mga bata po ay natuto sa mga araling tinalakay. Sa flip classroom po ay maaari po tayong magdagdag ng mga activities na naaayon po sa araling panlipunan o sa iba pa pong asignatura. Pero lagi po natin tatandaan, naka-anchored po lagi ang ating gagamiting strategies sa pinoprovide po ng Division Office. Narito po ang ilan, hango po sa 2C2I 1R na mga estratehiya po. Constructivist approach, strategies po ay thinking skills, activity-based, and direct instructions. The 3A's activity, act, giving simple workshop, coaching, analyze, compare, and abstract, apply, use, and implement. Collaborative approach, strategies, online collaborative learning, jigsaw method, think, fair, share, integrated process approach, peer teaching. Integrative approach, 1. Educational technology, 2. Lecture method, 3. Discussion method, 4. Bus group or bus session, 5. Brainstorming. Inquiry-based approach, 1. Simulation, 2. Demonstration, 3. Experiment, 4. Field study, 5. Project work. Reflective approach, strategies, self-evaluation and self-reflection. The TTRA activity, think, analyze patterns occurring during the teaching and learning process. Talk, self-talk or group talk done by the teacher or learner, source of reflection. Another activity, the 4A's activity. Activity, build on students' ideas. Analysis, make thinking visible. Abstraction,
Encourage listening to others. Application, promote autonomy, lifelong learning. Reflective approach, strategies. 1. Scaffold knowledge integration. 2. Content-based instruction or CBI. Sa pagsasagawa po natin ng flipped classroom, maglagay po tayo ng localization. Marami pong mahalagang tao na nasa bayan ng Rosario. Maaari po nating gamitin o banggitin ang mga nagawa nila sa bayan. Meron din po tayong mga makasaysayang lugar at pangyayari po dito sa ating bayan. Sa pagsasagawa po ng localization, mas madadagdagan po ang kaalaman ng mga mag-aaral patungkol sa bayan ng Rosario. Hanggang dito na lamang po at marami pong salamat.
Magandang araw po sa inyong lahat. Ako po si Binibining Sanyata Arcabrizos, Teacher 1 ng Silangan Elementary School. At narito po ako upang talakayin ang paggamit ng flipped classroom model sa Pilipino. Ang layunin po ng session na ito ay makapagbigay ng mga mungkahing gawain bago, habang at pagkatapos ng klase gamit ang flipped classroom model at magamit ang flipped classroom model sa pagtuturo ng Pilipino. Balangkas ng lecture. Mungkahing gawain bago, habang at pagkatapos ng klase gamit ang flipped classroom model at integrasyon ng flipped classroom model sa Pilipino. Flipped classroom. Ano nga ba ang flipped classroom at paano kaya natin ginagamit ang flipped classroom? So, ito po yung mga mungkahing gawain bago. Layunin po nito ay maunawaan ng mga mag-aaral ang aralin. Magkaroon ng paunang kaalaman ang mga mag-aaral. Una, bigyan ng takdang gawain ang mga mag-aaral. Ano-ano ang dapat basahin sa module? Ano-ano ang mga video lessons na dapat niyang mapanood? So, pwede na po nating bigyan muna ang mga bata bago tayo magsimula ng ating klase. Ibigay na po natin sa kanila ang mga takdang gawain. Ano po, pwede na po nating i-upload ito sa ating Google Classroom. Ano po, doon po sa ating weekly home learning plan, reflected po doon ang mga pahina na mga dapat nilang basahin bago magsimula ang ating klase. At kung ano-ano pong mga video lessons ang kanilang mga dapat nang panoorin. So, sa ikalawa po, padalhan ang mga mag-aaral ng video explainer. So, pwede na po din natin i-upload ang ating mga video explainer sa ating Google Classroom. O di kaya naman po, pwede na din po natin itong isend sa ating group chats upang mapanood na po nila at magkaroon na po sila ng ideya sa kung ano ang ating aaralin sa partikular na araw na iyon. Ikatlo po, bigyan ng guide questions ang mga bata na kailangang sagutan o mga piling exercises sa module para matiyak na aaralin nila ang paksa. Halimbawa po, meron tayong kwento sa aralin. Ano po? Yung kwento pong yon, pwede na po tayong magbigay sa kanila ng mga katanungan o kaya naman ay guide questions na kailangan nilang sagutan. O kaya naman po ay mga piling exercises na nagmula sa module para matiyak na kanilang aaralin ang ating paksa. Ikaapat, bigyan ng pre-assessment o kaya naman ay pre-test ang mga bata. Ang mga score dito ng mga bata ang magsisilbing batayan para sa mga gawaing ihahanda ng guro. Makikita rin dito kung sinong mga bata ang kailangang tutukan ng guro. So, bago po magsimula ang ating klase, pwede na po tayong magbigay ng pre-assessment or pre-test sa ating mga mag-aaral. Ano po? Yung score po nila dito po natin ibabatay kung ano pa yung mga ihahanda nating gawain para mas matuto sila. So, makikita rin natin dito kung sino-sinong mga bata ang kinakailangan nating tutukan para mas maunawaan nila ang ating ituturong aralin. So, ito po yung mga ilan sa halimbawa ng mga gawain na aking in-upload sa aming Google Classroom para meron na pong ideya ang mga bata kung ano ang aming aaralin sa partikular na araw na iyon. Ayan po, ito po ay isa din sa halimbawa ng gawain na aking in-upload sa aming Google Classroom. Ayan, dumako naman po tayo sa during o kaya naman ay habang. Ang layunin po nito ay mailapat ng mga mag-aaral ang natutunan before sa application activities at matiyak ng guro ang pangunawa ng mga mag-aaral sa paksa. Una po ay bigyan ng mga gawaing paglalapat ang mga mag-aaral upang makita ng guro kung natutunan nila ang paksa. So dito po magbibigay na po tayo ng gawaing paglalapat. Ano po ay ito ay upang makita natin kung natutunan nga ba nila ang paksa. Ano po? Ayan. Ikalawa po ay batay sa pretest results, maaaring magbigay ang guro ng mga gawain batay sa kakayahan ng mga bata. Sa hindi po nakamaster sa paksa, remedial na gawain ang ating ibibigay. Samantalang naman po sa nakamaster ng paksa, enrichment o enhancement activity. Ito po ay maaaring gamitin ng guro ang mga available na resources, learners, materials, o kaya naman ay teacher-made activity sheets. Ayan. Ikatlo ay maaari ring gumamit ang guro ng active discussion. Halimbawa, maaaring gumamit ang guro ng discussion table. So, ito po yung ating discussion table. Dito po nakapaloob ang mga katanungang ano ang aking natutunan sa pagbabasa sa module, o kaya naman ay panonood sa video lesson, ano ang hindi ko pa nauunawaan, at paano ko ito higit na mauunawaan. Ayan. Ang ikaapat po ay maaaring magkaroon na ng formative assessment ang guro sa stage na ito. Ito ay upang tayain kung natutunan na ng mga bata ang paksa. Ikalima, maaari ring magbigay na rin ng performance task ang guro. Dito po sa ikaapat, pwede pong magkaroon na habang nagkaklase, magkaroon na po ng Q&A portion o kaya naman ay pwede na pong tanungin ang mga bata kung ano ang kanilang naunawaan sa ating aralin at kung ano pa ang kailangan nilang matutunan. Kung meron silang gustong liwanagin, pwede na po dito sa during o kaya ay habang. At maaaring magbigay na rin ng performance task ang guro. Ito po ay upang tayain kung hanggang saan ang kakayahan ng bata o hanggang saan ang natutunan ng bata. Ano po? Ayan, ito po yung sa during. Ano po? Ito po, na-send ko na po ito sa kanila bago nagsimula ang aming klase. At habang nagaganap ang klase, ito na po yung isa sa aming diskusyon na nagaganap. Ayan, isa rin po ito sa halimbawa. Ito din po yung mga gawain na aming ginagawa habang nagkaklase. Ayan, mga mungkahing gawain pagkatapos. Ang layunin po nito ay mapalalim ang pagkatuto ng mga mag-aaral. Una, bigyan ng mga extended application activities ang mga bata. Hindi ito makikita sa module na maaaring written o kaya ay performance outputs depende sa instructional goals ng guro. So, ito na po yung mga teacher-made activity test natin. Ano po? So, ikalawa po ay bigyan ng takdang gawain ng mga bata ukol sa susunod na paksa. So, pwede na po tayong magbigay dito ng assignment para meron pong gagawin ng mga bata at magkaroon sila ng ideya sa susunod na ating aaralin. Ayan, ito po, dito po, pagkatapos po ng ating aralin, pwede na pong magsumite ang mga bata ng kanilang mga gawain. So, ito po, naibigay ko na po ang gawain nila bago kami magsimula ng klase. At tinalakay na po namin ang nilalaman ng mga kasagutan nilang ito. At ito na po, nagsumiti po sila ng kanilang mga natapos na gawain sa aming Google Classroom. So, pagkatapos po ng aralin, pwede na pong isumite ng mga bata ang kanilang mga gawain sa ating Google Classroom o kaya naman po ay pwede na po nila itong isend sa ating mga group chats o kaya naman ay i-PM sa atin. Ano po? So, yun lang po. I-share ko lang po ang isa sa mga sayings ni John Holt. Learning is not the product of teaching. Learning is the product of the activity of learners. Yun lang po. Maraming salamat po sa inyong pakikinig at manatili po tayong ligtas. God bless us all.
Good morning, everyone. For our last session this morning, I will be discussing flipped classroom model in mathematics. The objectives of this session is to share and make suggestions for future practice of flipped classroom model in mathematics and to contribute to the sustainable development of adopting modified flipped classroom model. For the outline, I am going to share standard inverted classroom concept before, during, and after class and integration of flipped classroom model in mathematics. Before class, we provide them self-learning modules and other relevant reading materials. Then we give them direct instruction or guide questions and upload video explainer or lessons for them to watch. Traditionally, we give assignments to do at home, but the idea here is that learners watch video lessons at home and do their assignments during online class. With the use of video lessons, we can reduce the learner's anxiety because they are able to rewatch the video to better understand the lesson before the online class. But we have also be aware of the source video that we provide them.
Bilang panimula, ating alamin ang ibig sabihin ng salitang reciprocal. Ang reciprocal, ibig sabihin ay kabaliktaran. Halimbawa, 3/5. Sa kabaliktaran, magiging 5/3. Sa pag-solve ng division of fraction, kailangan natin itong i-rewrite. Bago yan, nais kong tandaan ninyo ang tatlong salitang ito. Una ay ang keep. Ibig sabihin, ang first term ng ating equation ay ating i-retain or gagayahin lamang. 3/7. Ang pangalawang salita natin ay ang change. Pag sinabi natin change, papalitan natin ang symbol na ito into multiplication. At ang pangatlo ay flip. Flip, dito papasok ang ating salitang reciprocal. Babaliktarin natin ang second term ng ating equation. 3/5 sa kabaliktaran ay magiging 5/3.
It is advisable that we use self-made video explainer so we can easily make adjustments to the needs of our learners. Limit or at least avoid using other teachers' videos available in YouTube. Instead, use DepEd TV episodes or Itulay online tutorial. During class, first, we start with a prayer and greetings. A simple, "How are you today?" is a good start. As you learn more about your learners, you can vary your questions or way of approaching them depending on their interests. I suggest you try to make a request. Give your learners a sense of purpose right from the beginning by giving them a task as they enter the video conferencing room. Example, checking the numbers of participants. Give everyone an opportunity to be your class assistant. Next is review. In my class, I call it Math Throwback. Then, I give a pre-test. Taking a short test helps us teachers to assess the learner's understanding. We give remediation after class to those who failed to master past lessons and an enrichment activity to those who stand out. Third is discussion or repetition. After introducing the lesson, repeating and reviewing the video explainer, guide questions, and reading materials help learners able to comprehend the lesson on their own learning pace.
Lastly is interaction. Learners' engagement in an interactive games or activities can boost their confidence and understanding in the lesson objectives. As a result, increase in meeting the mastery of the lesson can be achieved. In math, aside from manipulative materials, we can use free online apps available like Quizzes, Kahoot, Miro, WordWall, Bamboozle, and Google Jamboard, which I use in my math class. This is very suitable during math discussions. If we are having connectivity issues, we can use PowerPoint pen tools or Gmeet Jamboard. After class, first, we give post-tests. Give assessment tests to get the mastery level of each learner. Second, provide learners other activities where they can apply the concept learned which is not from the module. And assign learners to study the next lesson and answer the learning task for next week. And to share my insights, applying a flipped classroom learning model in mathematics requires that each learner has higher chance to master a topic before moving on to the next one. Flipped classroom will be most suitable in teaching math as some parents are not familiar or around to teach their child on some mathematical problems. So by providing video explainer and follow-up during and after online class has positively affected learners' achievement in mathematics at their own learning pace. Before I end this session, I would like to leave everyone a quote from George Couros. Technology will not replace great teachers, but technology in the hands of great teachers can be transformational. So thank you and stay safe.